Welcome back to another deep dive. Let's be honest right off the bat. Very few things evoke as much collective dread in the workplace as having to fill out a timesheet. It's universally groaned about. But today, we're completely dismantling this topic. We're decoding time management analytics, because despite the dread, it is absolutely crucial for the modern workplace. Now, for a long time, tracking time was viewed purely as a big brother tool, right? Like a way to micromanage literally every minute of an employee's day. But as we're going to see today, that perspective is entirely outdated. When leveraged correctly, time management analytics isn't about strict surveillance anymore. It's a highly vital instrument for measuring and maintaining true organizational health. So let's dive right into this.
Okay, let's look at the actual definition here. Employee time management analytics focus on quantifying how effectively working hours are utilized, how schedules align with productivity, and how inefficiencies impact organizational outcomes. Now, I want you to really read that carefully. We are not just checking to see if someone is sitting at their desk warming a chair. We're talking about quantifying actual effectiveness. It's all about the strategic alignment of a worker's schedule with real, tangible productivity and enterprise outcomes. It basically allows business leaders to ask the hard questions. Are the hours we're putting in actually translating into results, or are there hidden inefficiencies just quietly draining our momentum?
To make this incredibly clear and actionable for us today, we're going to break this whole thing down into three core pillars. We have pillar one, which is workforce discipline. Pillar two is employee engagement. Pillar three covers operational efficiency. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the bottom line.
Starting off with pillar one, workforce discipline.
So we really need to look at the operational foundations of reliability, and frankly, the hidden pitfalls of procrastination that can hold an entire team back. What's super interesting here is how discipline breaks down into two distinct measurable metrics. First up, we've got the attendance compliance rate. This simply measures punctuality and adherence to scheduled hours. Now sure, it sounds basic, but a high compliance rate is your absolute baseline. It signals fundamental discipline and reliability across your teams. But, and this is where it gets fascinating, consider the second metric, time to task start. This metric actually tracks the lag between when an employee logs in and when they actually initiate a task. Think about it. Someone might have a totally perfect attendance compliance rate, like they clock in exactly at 9 a.m. every single day, but if their time to task start shows they don't actually begin productive work until, say, 9:45, well, you've just uncovered a hidden procrastination pattern. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that these two metrics combined, attendance compliance rate and time to task start, form the absolute bedrock of workforce discipline. You need the punctuality to ensure the team is actually present, for sure, but you absolutely must minimize that lag time to ensure they're truly engaged in the work. You simply can't have true organizational health without a rock-solid foundation in both of these areas.
Now, I want you to pause and really think about this for a second. Are your employees taking their scheduled breaks? We just talked all about discipline and starting tasks on time, right? But time management analytics is very much a two-way street. If your immediate thought about time tracking is just getting people to work harder and harder, you're missing half the picture. Time data is equally about human sustainability and empathy, which brings us perfectly to pillar two, employee engagement. This is exactly where we learn how time data can act as a literal early warning system. It can flag severe burnout and disengagement risks way before they lead to costly turnover. And this is critical, guys, considering employee burnout costs organizations up to $190 billion a year in healthcare costs alone. That is a massive number. Here we have two distinct metrics acting as a pulse check on your workforce. First is absenteeism frequency, which tracks unplanned absences per employee per month. Look, everyone gets sick, right? It happens. But when you start seeing elevated rates of unplanned absences across a whole department, the data is screaming something vital at you. Elevated rates strongly indicate disengagement or serious burnout risks. Paired directly with this are break adherence metrics, monitoring whether employees are actually taking their scheduled breaks. If your data shows widespread non-adherence to breaks, meaning people are just working straight through their days, that is a massive red flag. It signals severe overwork. These aren't just dry, boring HR statistics. They are absolutely critical cause and effect indicators of your team's physical and mental bandwidth. And this brilliantly illustrates how the whole narrative around time tracking just completely flips. By tracking absenteeism frequency alongside break adherence, you're effectively measuring burnout signals and overwork signals. You are actively using data to protect your employees, ensuring they stay engaged, healthy, and capable of sustaining their performance over the long haul. Ultimately, it's about preserving your absolute best talent.
All right, let's ramp up the energy as we move into our climax. Pillar three, operational efficiency.
This is the spot where discipline and engagement combine to create actual tangible results. We're going to look at efficiency, equity, and exactly where those non-productive hours love to hide in an organization. First up is task completion timeliness, which evaluates whether tasks are completed within their allocated timeframes. This links directly, and I mean directly, to your bottom line efficiency. It basically asks, are we doing what we said we'd do in the exact time we said it would take? Then you contrast that with the idle time ratio. This measures non-productive logged hours. Say your team is clocking 40 hours a week, right? But the idle time ratio is surprisingly high. That suggests systemic inefficiencies, maybe some hidden roadblocks in your processes, or even a severe lack of engagement. It essentially tells you that the hours are there on paper, but the actual output is completely stalling out.
Now, when you compare a team's workload distribution index, which is basically comparing the raw hours logged across different teams, against their overtime utilization, which weighs those overtime hours against actual productivity outcomes, well, that is where the analytical magic really happens. By putting these concepts side by side, you can instantly highlight inequities in workload allocation. Think of it like this. If Team A has a massive workload distribution index, and they're constantly logging overtime, but their actual productivity outcomes aren't scaling proportionally, you don't just have a busy team. Actually, scratch that. You have a massive workload imbalance. You found a bottleneck.
Let's quickly recap this incredibly dense yet powerful pillar. You've got overtime utilization, task completion timeliness, workload distribution index, and idle time ratio. When you pull these four specific metrics together into a single dashboard, you're no longer flying blind. You aren't guessing about how your business is running. You have ultimate visibility into your organization's true operational efficiency. You can literally see exactly who is overworked, where the bottlenecks are forming, if tasks are actually finishing on time, and where time is simply being wasted.
Which leads us to our final section, the bottom line.
We have covered a massive amount of ground in this explainer today. By synthesizing these 8 specific metrics across our 3 pillars, we get to see the complete picture. Time management analytics is, at its core, the ultimate balancing act. It allows a business to drive relentless operational productivity while simultaneously monitoring and protecting human sustainability. You really can't have one without the other. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to take away today. I want you to look at your own organization's dashboards. Really look at them and ask yourself, are you using time data to measure mere presence, or are you using it to measure true operational efficiency? Are you just counting the hours, or are you actively making those hours count? The data is sitting right there, waiting for you. It's time to start using it. Thanks for focusing in with us today, and I will see you on the next deep dive.